Good morning. The time is 8:06. Currently 30 degrees in downtown Wausau. We are under a fog advisory, but it is the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Again, just to remind you, weather-wise, there is a fog advisory going on here in north central Wisconsin throughout the course of this morning. In fact, it is going until 12 noon today for the entire WXCO listening area. So visibility, 1/4 mile or less in dense fog and freezing fog until 12 noon today. So again, if you are driving conditions could be hazardous in certain areas. And in addition, temperatures near or below freezing could result in slippery stretches on untreated roads and surfaces. Coming up this morning at about 8:20, we'll be joined by Nancy Stencil, the chairperson of the Marathon County Democratic Party. Plenty to talk about with her coming up in just a few minutes. Later on, we will open up the phone lines, and make sure you note this. We want your voice to be part of this program. 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. And we'll have plenty of time for you to talk about what's on your mind in terms of some of the headlines or even things that we are not talking about here this morning. But we are going to start things off by talking a little bit about what's happening with one of our neighbors just across the way. We're very happy to welcome in Julie Bollmann, who is the executive director of the Children's Imaginarium, which is right across the way. As I look through the window here, I can see you each and every morning. Julie, good to see you again.
Good morning. Yeah, through this foggy morning, you can probably barely see us across the way. But
well, you're close enough where I can still see you. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but, that's for sure.
Before we talk about the event that's coming up, how are things going generally?
It's going so well. I mean, I feel so blessed and fortunate from all the support of our community, whether it's our memberships, our visitors, our donors, our supporters. Since we've opened, we've had over 75,000 people through our doors, which is amazing. 9,300 field trips. So, and from outside of Marathon County. So it's amazing. So
that's one of the things that's kind of jumped out is that it's become really a regional hub for people, because as you talked about previously, there's really nothing like this around anywhere near here in Wausau.
Right. And STEM learning is so critical for our future. You know, as we move forward, jobs that are going to be existing in 30 years that are STEM connected, you need to have those foundational skills, which we need to have them learn earlier. So it's really critical in that 0 to 12 age cap that they get exposed to those career opportunities. And that's through STEM learning, hands-on STEM learning.
The hands-on aspect has been something that's been very noticeable in terms of events like this event you're having coming up. But also one thing that's very noticeable, and we'll talk again here about this, is you have so many partners. I mean, really, you've been really very active and very good about getting a lot of different types of partners and to bring different kinds of perspectives to these events.
I mean, I think that kind of started with our founders, Maggie and Tammy. You know, a sense of community and collaboration is really essential for the future of the Children's Imaginarium. We need to be accessible, we need to have partnerships, and we need to expose new and innovative learning to our future, which is our youth and eventually our workwork.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening. What is the event that's coming up? It's coming up on Saturday.
Saturday from 10 to 12. We're partnering again with the Medical College of Wisconsin for our annual teddy bear clinic, which is just so fun. And I mean, oh my goodness, you should see the smiles, the giggles. I mean, it has so many positive purposes that go along with it. I mean, for kids, for littles, you know, when they go to the doctor, it can be a little scary. It can be a little intimidating. It sometimes doesn't have a positive connection. And so we can kind of set that at ease when they bring in their stuffy or their teddy bear or whatever that is. So they have an opportunity to actually work with trained medical professionals. These are first-year medical students or more. Lots of volunteers from the Medical College of Wisconsin and Aspirus that come in to help support this. They go through various stations, everything from like getting exposed to a stethoscope to, you know, having your ears checked. Obviously, they're not being done to them, but they get to do it to their teddy, which is so exciting and fun. And then the piece de la resistance is that they are actually playing and learning as they go.
Right.
So they get exposed to careers, which is just amazing. And, we really need medical careers here in Wausau. So that early learning exposure is really important.
You said it, I think, right off the top. I mean, even as we get older, it's intimidating to go into a doctor's office or a dentist's office.
Yes.
I mean, especially if you're a child, the first time they go into it, if your first experience is in this kind of situation, it's got to make that first real experience so much easier.
Yes, it is. I mean, practice makes perfect, right? We talk about that with the play-based learning is by you keep doing repetitive things or trying new things in the comfort, and chances are you might not do it right the first time, but each time you do it, you're learning. And that's that secret sauce that happens in the children's Imaginarium.
And actually, I really like the idea that as well to have these students there and to be able to have that give and take where you talk about the child with the teddy bears and being able to try to use the ears or use the mouth or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
To have those questions be answered, and you're exactly right. That's the kind of thing that does spark interest. Who knows? You may want to find out more about it even after it's over.
Yeah, maybe they'll become a nurse. Maybe they'll become an emergency medic. Maybe they'll become a pediatrician. But by providing that early learning opportunity, it's so critical. There recently came out some really important research, which I'm excited to share, which says that if kids are not exposed to STEM-based careers by 5th grade, they won't pursue them, which is really scary because STEM careers are the fastest trajectory that are going in our career workforce. I mean, it's everywhere. It's involved in everything. So it's really important that they get early exposure. And our education facilities do a great job, but we just want to complement that and, be that partner to provide those opportunities.
And you said it. I mean, these are the kind of careers that are truly needed and that truly are life and death careers. And frankly, in this changing world, there are certain things that you're still going to need for the future.
Right.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
What are the details of when exactly is it, and what else do people need to know in terms of planning for Saturday?
Yeah. So pack up your teddy bear. We will have some extras in case you forget them, but bring your favorite stuffy or your teddy bear, whatever you want to bring. We open at 10 o'clock. It goes until noon. You'll go through a rotation system in our revolving gallery space, and you'll actually have like a little passport that they'll check off on, and then they get a certificate of completion. So really exciting stuff that we're doing. We're so thankful to be partnering with the Medical College of Wisconsin. Amazing students. Such great leaders, future workforce. And again, Aspire supports this too as well through the Medical College of Wisconsin. So very exciting.
One of the other things that I noticed when got the information for the event, it shows it's another aspect where if you become a member of the Children's Imaginarium, it's one of these things where it's free for those folks. There is a cost if you're not, but it's obviously something that would be well worth it. But it just shows, again, if you're somebody that has kids and that may want to use the Children's Imaginarium more than once, being a member is a great idea, isn't it?
Yeah, our annual memberships are very affordable. And when you break it down, it really is much cheaper than even taking a family of 4 out for dinner. And so this is an opportunity to have a family activity, to learn something new. Being a member allows you access into the museum when it's convenient for you, and you don't have to incur the charges to come in. We are a nonprofit. Unfortunately, we have to charge for those things, and admission is $10 per person.
Well, that's still, I think I've said this to you before because I've walked down to my vehicle down in the parking garage, and I'll see people that are going in there, and you just see how, I think, excited the kids are. And I also see how happy the parents are to have something like this here. And it's hard to believe. I mean, it's only been just over 2 years. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. December 6th of 2023 was our birthday. And so we just completed 2 years. So yeah, some days it seems like much longer. and we like to say that we're done with our terrible 2s. And we're moving on into, our 3s. So we're very excited. But again, so many opportunities to learn STEM learning. And again, like you talked talked and mentioned is that, the opportunities for kids to connect with their caregivers, opportunities for kids to connect with other kids that are outside their social circuit and practice that skill set. And then more importantly, I think, because I was a parent at one time, an opportunity for parents to connect, which really provides that full circle of opportunities, all in an educational STEM-based learning environment.
Come on, your kids are older, but you're still a parent.
I know. That doesn't stop, does it? It doesn't. No, just at different capacities.
Oh.
Yes, most definitely.
I imagine that as we now get into 2026, that there's going to be a lot more as well that people should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, we have some really great things coming up, which I'm excited to share with you. Our really one that I'm really excited about is we have a new exhibit coming in on January 20th. It'll be open to the public. It'll be in our revolving gallery space, so an additional 1,500 square feet. It is called Science in You. So talking about, again, those health-based careers, but just really talking about the science discovery, becoming a scientist, learning about tools, hands-on application. It's a beautiful exhibit, so interactive, so creative. It was designed out of Cole's Children's Museum in central Illinois. So we're very excited to host that here. That'll be from January to May. So it's an additional add-on to the museum. And then, of course, in February, we're hosting our annual fundraiser for our Access for All program called Fire and Ice, which is perfect timing in February. February 20th from 6 to 9. We actually have early bird ticket prices right now that make it affordable, so purchased soon. It's a night for adult only, for individuals to come in, adults to come in and have a connection in the museum. So to let your adult child come out, but yet we'll have some really fun interactive bites, alcohol and non-alcoholic tastings and different things like that. And then this year we're really excited to have some raffle items that are very unique and wonderful. The Kohler Day Spa is going to be giving us a wonderful luxury spa day. So that's an exciting thing. We also are going to be having some outdoor pieces for your patio that are custom designed for you. So we actually have approximately 12 items, really nice items that people can bid on. So we're excited to have that opportunity as well. It's going to be a phenomenal night. It's from 6 to 9 on February 20th, Friday.
Fantastic. Lots to look forward to. But again, coming up Saturday, 10 a.m. until 12 noon.
Yes, Saturday.
Yep, the Teddy Bear Clinic. Looks like it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for the kids.
Yeah, thank you.
Julie, it's always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Have a safe trip across the way. Don't slip.
Oh, actually, it's pretty safe out there, but it's foggy.
But that's Julie Bollmann from the Children's Imaginarium. Again, stop by Saturday, 10 till noon for the Teddy Bear Clinic. And again, you can check out more information by going online to children'simaginarium.org. We're going to take a time out, come back, and be joined by Nancy Stencil coming up next. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Good morning. Sorry.
Trying to show he can't be bought. Who takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah. Every kind of people.
See what's become of me.
Police a bad name too.
And welcome back. It is the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And again, you can catch us on YouTube as well, youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. The time is 8:23, 30 degrees here in downtown Wausau from our WXCO studios at the corner of Washington and North 3rd Street here in downtown Wausau. Again, we would also love for you to join us on the program. Our phone lines are open at 715-814-9330, because I know Nancy would love to hear from you as well. Nancy Stencil, sitting across the table. Good to see you, Nancy. It's been a little while.
Good to see you.
The
Yeah.
holidays,
Yeah.
'cause
Happy New Year. Not
absolutely.
so much.
Well, let's jump right in because, I mean, there's so much we need to talk about. And let's start with the headlines of the day because our neighbors to the west over in Minneapolis, Just
Let's talk about the SS officers.
well, I mean, it's tragic in every level, but
Every.
one of the things that is again beyond, I think, doubt at this point is we got our own secret police out there that are killing with
We do,
impunity.
yeah.
And,
Yep.
but
SS officers minus the jackboots. We were talking about this off air that, they advertise on TV for their officers, so to speak. You don't know what the hell you're getting. These are probably people that can't get a job anywhere else. And I do want to make a definite separation here that it's not like our local police. That's not what they are. I have worked with in my career with some officers from Wausau and from Marathon County Sheriff's Department. These are stellar people that know what they're doing.
Trained.
And they're trained and very, very caring people. ICE is not. They are killers.
this whole situation, though, as well, is this, and frankly, I'm upset with the media as well, because you have the New York Times saying, well, we're not really, which version is correct?
Well,
I mean, we got eyewitnesses, we have video, and we also know who this person is, and that's one of the things that is incredibly
put a name
frustrating.
to it. Yes.
Is that we don't know who's firing. I mean, they keep
No.
it so secretive. I mean, literally secret police.
I have watched those videos, and I mean, as far as and I watched different stations to see different things, and it did not look to me like she was trying to run anybody over. She was just trying to get out of there, and
These people
even
are
if she
screaming
were,
at
wouldn't
her,
you like shoot at a tire or something first? I mean, this was point blank. Let me lean over the hood and shoot you in the face kind of stuff.
Let's talk about, again, the person who lost her life. Renee Nicole Good.
Yep.
And I found some information about her. She was 37,
Yes.
an award-winning poet.
Yes.
She had a 6-year-old daughter whose father died in 2023, and now her mother has been murdered by Donald Trump's thugs.
Exactly. And her husband was also military,
I mean,
a veteran.
so I think one of the points that needs to be made is, who is this person? Because if they're
This
going to...
person is you or
Yes.
I.
And Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller immediately say this is a domestic terrorist. This was not
no,
a domestic
she's not.
terrorist.
ICE is.
But that's what they
ICE
say.
is.
But that's the
She's
first thing out
not.
of their mouth. Domestic terrorist. I mean,
She is not.
how, what was
She was a you or I that would stand up for our community. And I know I released a statement last night from the Marathon County Democratic
Mhm.
Party, stating that this was an act of murder. And
Yes, and we need to know who these people are. It's not good enough right now for them to be in. They're masked without any kind of. I mean, this is
Right.
These are armed vigilantes in a sense.
That's
that
exactly
are, that
what
are
they
being,
are.
That are being supported.
we
by,
don't need that kind of thing around here either.
And frankly, it's a bigger picture item too. I think not only I'm be looking for Democrats to talk about.
We
getting rid of
better
ICE,
speak up about it.
getting rid of ICE, but I think got to get rid of the Department of Homeland Security and all the other garbage that
We
came.
need to get rid of this whole thing.
they
It's
came out-
awful.
That they all came out of this fear post 9/11.
Yeah.
That was wrong. The idea of Homeland Security comes right out of the Nazi
No,
playbook.
we have got a wonderful immigrant community that lives here that has a stellar work ethic, that they enrich our area by that work ethic and by the rich culture that they provide. And they are not criminals.
Also, that is
I
something
know
that
a lot of white people that are criminals.
But that's sort of where this all came from. This racist idea that we're going to go into Minnesota and get rid of all these Somalis and all these other immigrants. That's where it all started, isn't
yes,
it?
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
So, and people
had
said
been
no.
there
This,
for-
and the thing was, there were people out there that said no, we're not going to allow this. That's what the people have to do, and it's so sad
People
that
need
somebody
to stand up.
But it's so just tragic that somebody who's actually, I think, what America is all about here in this 250th
We
anniversary
are
of the
a
Declaration.
melting pot.
But this person said, "This is not my country," and she got killed for it. That
Right.
is just wrong.
Right.
Wrong.
It is wrong.
Now what? Because I do not want to see Chuck Schumer get up in a mealy-mouthed statement.
No.
every Democrat should be on the steps of the Capitol this morning saying enough
Yes.
is enough.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the idea, and I know, and Frank, I think I know what their plan is to say, okay, we're just going to let Donald Trump keep doing unpopular things, and we're going to take advantage of it. But
And we'll win in the midterms. Not if you don't open your mouth and stand
Right.
up for something.
that's not a plan, and that's also, even if you do win in the midterms, what you're exactly right. You want a mandate to do things.
I want somebody who's going to stand up and do things, be bold.
Also, and I'm going to say that it's going to be a minimum, is no more saying we're not going to look back. We're going to look back, and these people have to be
No,
prosecuted.
yes, I agree.
Because that's one of the problems is we keep seeing it over and over again where they do things, and then we just move forward. And that doesn't work. We need to set a tone in
You
this country.
slaughtered a woman. You're no better than, say, a Charlie Manson or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. We're going to have more political talk with Nancy Stencil after our information update here at the bottom of the hour, plus the farm report as well. So we'll be back with Nancy Stencil coming up in just a few moments here on 98.9 WXCO.
Today I saw a car crush the little dog under its wheel. It did not even stop, it just sped off and out of sight. Sometimes I just feel so afraid, but I know that no one else has it made. So if I just believe in myself, I won't need no help from nobody else, and I can make it out.
When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. A miracle. Oh, it was beautiful, magical. And all the birds in the trees.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO. Civic Media app, and also on YouTube at youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. And again, if you'd like to respond to anything that we are saying, maybe agree, or even hey, if you disagree, I mean, I'm
Give us a call.
willing to discuss. You can call up Ian, and he'll get you on the air, 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. And again, we were talking off the air because we should have an off-the-air show as well. But
We should,
That's a whole different. That's a whole different program.
It would be a good
But
program.
I was mentioning that during the passage last summer of the one big beautiful bill that
Yeah.
Donald Trump keeps touting, that ICE's budget was increased to more than $175 billion over the next 4 years, and that's with a B, $175 billion. There's been talk about defense budgets, and there's even I saw a social media posting from a Republican saying, I'm a big hawk as anyone, but this number is just insane. And yet, here in January, early January, the last week, because on January the 1st, the ACA subsidies came to an end, and I mentioned to you that I'm paying more than $500 a month more for my health care, which is just
And that's $500 more,
more
than what you already
I
were
mean,
paying.
it's insane. I mean, I've got to.
And what do you do without it? But
yeah, I mean, but that's a lot of money, but again, it just shows the priorities right
And
now.
you and I, we talked about that, the total disconnect that people just don't seem to understand. Look at all this, just billions of dollars going for ICE or for war. And that's all we do in this country is, I swear, is like it revolves around a war. And we're fast becoming a third world country, as you and I talked about.
One thing I want to throw in there as well, and then you can continue with. So when you talk about this whole idea of war, one thing that also has to be mentioned whenever you talk about the money that's being spent on the military and such is the amount of money that goes to these businesses.
Yeah.
The friends of Donald.
Yeah.
You know, basically.
The contractors and the what and yeah.
I mean, I saw this story this week.
And what about your health care or anybody else's?
Right.
Things that might critically, actually help people in this country.
There's never money for
There's
child
never
care.
money for that.
Never child care.
That would be a waste of money.
I mean, in the idea.
Let's go blow some shit up, huh?
And this week, and we're going to talk about this as well, generally politically, when David Crowley came here to talk to us, one thing I said in a lead up to a question is, in the year 2026. I mean, the idea that you have to go hours in order to get health care.
Yeah.
To go to a hospital. I mean, you have hospitals closing down.
North of us is
I mean,
it's
and literally that people have to go hours in order to get to a hospital. I mean, this is
there's
2026
things that are shutting down
in the
yeah.
richest country in the history of the world, where these billionaires are just. I mean, including
They're amassing great wealth.
Donald Trump has doubled his net worth in 1 year.
Yeah.
The corruption.
What is that doing for you?
But the corruption. I mean, it used to be that would matter. Why doesn't it matter anymore?
And I don't want to hear, oh, they're all corrupt. Let's just take a look at what is your government doing for you. They are there to monitor things, to make this so that we are the best country in the world. And we're not. I mean, if you had to really write down what you can get if you come to this country, why would you?
And the idea that these incredibly rich people continually to try to shame people that are on any kind of government.
Right.
They try to shame them now. That's their
Yeah.
game plan. That's
Maybe we should shame businesses that don't pay their help anything. And I don't mean your local businesses and anything like that. I mean, I'm talking the corporations that don't pay living wages.
And the corporations that give their CEOs, I mean, we've seen the charts over the years that back in the 1950s, the comparison to what a CEO would make compared to
the average worker
was
and what it
very
has
tight.
become today.
And nowadays it's just
Yeah.
where the CEO basically, whether they do a good job or don't do a good job, because if they get fired they get the golden parachute, and
Right.
and all that money that could go towards workers is wasted, basically flushed down the
Who's
toilet.
actually doing the work to make you prosperous?
Let me ask you, because I know that were you at the Crowley event earlier this week?
Yes,
as well,
I
when
was.
you visited?
Yeah. Yes, I
So
was.
now we're sort of into 2026, and I
Mhm.
think now a lot of the candidates for the governorship are going to start to become more
Yeah, they're
visible.
emerging, and we're having more and more. I know Mandela's doing a healthcare event here in Wausau on Friday. In February, we're going to be having Kelda Royce come to speak. There's a lot going on there.
What was your take on what you heard from David Crowley?
I liked it. I thought it was a very eclectic group of people that came to listen to him, and I think I liked that even more because there were people that knew a lot that had rentals in Wausau, and two of them where they rent to people at a reasonable rate, where they questioned David on things like like on TIFs and why is this rent so much, and compared to what the average wage was. So I mean, it was a really good conversation, but I think the majority of our conversation was housing.
Okay.
It just seemed to really center around housing.
Did you hear my discussion with him?
Yes, I did.
I'll ask you about that in a moment, but apparently there is somebody on the phone line. So what do we got?
Oh, okay.
Yes, I just got a phone call from somebody who knows you well, Nancy. It was a Doug Schultz.
Oh, Devin.
And he's a
Doug,
veteran,
yes.
and
Yes, he is.
he wanted me to talk to you about, how vital it is that veterans and Democrats can come together in light of this crisis and actually find a way that this can bring us, closer together to fight this problem. Because he told me that he's not a Democrat himself. He and his wife are independents, but
Correct.
Please encourage folks who call in to come on. I mean,
Yeah.
really,
Doug would be
I did mention that,
wonderful.
but he said I did mention that, but he said he probably couldn't hold it together on the air to
Oh.
actually.
I know
totally
Doug
understand
well.
that.
okay,
And
yeah.
and he does talk, like to the veterans, and he has said over and over again, he goes, I did not fight for this country to see what's going on right now. And he is very passionate about what he is. He wants to see good government.
that is an area as well. And I guess, when you look at different groups that you think, well, this idea, and there's always this idea that the military and veterans are more conservative. But
No, not always.
well, but that's
there's
but,
also
no,
what-
but let me complete my thought here.
Okay.
But that's the thought. I mean, that is the
Yeah.
conventional wisdom. And I mean,
No.
but is it really if you look at the numbers, the military does not vote more Republican than Democratic?
I'd have to say no. There's also that assumption that they're taken care of once they come back.
Right.
That's a pretty rude assumption.
But I
It
would
should be.
I would disagree that the idea that is that there's I mean
No.
I'm sorry that they vote. I mean you've
They vote just like
Re-
anybody else
re-
does.
have you seen numbers? I mean, do you look at that? I'm going to push you here because I mean I can't see that. I mean unless I'm missing something real. I'm going to delve into
Well,
that. a little
yeah, I
bit.
look at you like that because I might be a little bit jaded on it. But
Right.
I, from what I have met from people I've talked to that are veterans, no, they do not all vote Republican.
No, I'm not saying they all vote Republican. I'm saying that a majority vote
No, I
Republican.
don't think it's a majority. If it
But,
maybe
but
you know,
I'm
like
gonna
anything else, half
I'm
and
gonna
half,
say this
but-
in the most pleasant way possible, but the idea that if I was to say to all these groups, you would never say that the United States of America would vote more for Donald Trump than Kamala Harris. So I mean, again, people are voting for Donald Trump whether we like it or not.
Right, they are.
So the point I want to try to make here is, again, I think when you talk about military and the messaging that Democrats have to get better.
Yes,
I mean,
it has to get much bolder. Say what you're going to do. And we go back to Ma'am Donnie every time we talk, I swear. But, you know, here's a guy who comes out and says, this is what the people have asked for. And he is behind the people. He's going to try to do this for the people. Whether or not it actually happens and he's able to, I don't know. But, you know, he has got a lot of people behind him, a lot of people pushing to get things changed. And that's what we need.
and
Not
people-
only a candidate that is willing to stand up and say what needs to be done, but it takes people to get behind that candidate. And so that we know that there's a groundswell of people that want
and
change.
people want passion behind the statements, not just trying to
Not
say the
lip
right thing.
service, yeah.
Well, even what we heard from the
we're
media.
Democrats, we
I
support
know.
workers.
Well,
yeah.
you know, even following like Venezuela. Oh, we know he was a bad man. Well, no, I don't care if he's a good man or a bad man. What the United States of America did was not the right
No,
thing to do.
it's
that was
a basic lynching. And then, you know, when he's a bad man and he sells drugs, well, you
They
just
did a wonderful
pardoned
thing.
one
Yeah,
2 weeks
I know,
ago.
Exactly right. And I think what the mayor of Minneapolis said yesterday, he basically said, Donald Trump's lying again. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to be out there.
He
and,
said it in perfect common English of what people need to hear.
exactly. So as we move forward, and that's one of the things. I mean, and
People don't want ICE in your neighborhood. They don't want them in your town. And he said it right out.
And
Pack it up and
I'm curious to see which of these Democratic candidates whether
are
it's-
going to be big and bold.
and
Yeah.
going to say it the way it is, because one of the questions I have is that I mean, I think that the state of Wisconsin it's not going to be an easy race. It never is.
No,
I mean,
it never is.
but at the same
It isn't.
time, I don't think that trying to be fearful of alienating a few people that are in the middle right is
No.
going to be a winning
I
strategy.
think that's going to alienate you if you do that.
Exactly.
I think we need people that are willing to get up, stand up, and actually show what they do.
I saw yesterday Yi Lingzhong
Yeah.
announced his statewide race. Treasure, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, sadly, I can't play favorites. But here is a prime example of that. A guy who is just enmeshed in our community. You look at Yi Lingzhong's track record. I mean, my goodness, I think he started at the age of 18 on the school board, the county board. He knows what goes on in our communities. And like you said, that position is a gatekeeper. It's a checks and balances.
Well, I'm gonna try to be as nice as possible here, but is that the best use of his talents? Because
I don't know.
I mean, because I know
Because I do think of
I-
that too. Like,
I-
oh my God,
yeah.
if he gets in, what are we going to do for
I
this?
have said this to you previously. I mean, you see others that are running for multiple times for office, and for whatever reason, Yi, who had a very close race with Patrick Snyder
Yeah.
last time around. My first thought is, why isn't he running for that again? And my second thought is, I know how it works, and I'm not going to
Yep.
ask you to.
I
I'm
know
not gonna,
how it
I'm
works
not,
too,
I'm
yeah.
not going to ask you to divulge secrets.
Right.
But the party has a lot to say with this, and
Yeah, they do.
it makes me wonder again about the state party. And I have to say that there are moments where I wonder if the state party knows exactly what's going on in places like Central Wisconsin.
very respectfully, I will say, I think there's approaches to all the elections that does need change in the state party. We can't keep doing things like we've always done them, or we'll always get what we always got.
Want to stick around for a few more minutes to wrap up the hour?
You betcha.
Let's do it, because there's always a few more things to talk about. And again, we'd love to hear from you out there as well. 715-814-9330. 715-814-9330. We'll have a few more minutes with Nancy Stencil coming up as we continue on this Wednesday morning. 30 degrees is the temperature. Overcast skies here in downtown Wausau as we are...
It's Thursday.
Oh, it is Thursday. Did I say Wednesday?
You said Wednesday.
No.
Holy cow.
And notice I didn't know the difference either.
I think, you know what I have to do?
What?
I have to go and ask Donald Trump, hey, I need to take that little dementia test that he's been taking and
Yeah,
talking
let's
about.
see if we pass it.
Talking about. I don't. By the way, real fast, because we started the break a little bit, I think, too early. Right? It's 50 after the hard break, right?
Actually, they moved it up to 49 now.
Oh, we did move it up, so we're on. We're not.
You got 30
we're,
seconds,
we're not.
keep
We're
going.
not even on the
It's
air,
on
are
the
we?
YouTube channel, though.
Well, okay, so we're off the radio. We're still on YouTube. I will say, I remember this old episode of The Simpsons where it was very early, and Homer was put into an insane asylum by accident. It was the Michael Jackson episode. In fact, it was like he was before he got into his trouble, but at the end they let Homer out, and he kept on proudly showing this certificate that said certifiably sane. Donald Trump is like that, running around with his little sign. I passed my test here.
The only difference is Homer probably got a real certificate, and Donald Trump probably just made people print one out.
All right, you YouTube people. We'll be back in a few moments here on
Okay.
WXCO.
I've got a pocket full of holes, head in the clouds, the king of fools. You've got a ribbon of rainbows, the sun in your eyes, burning through. Could be I'm happy, I'm sad, could be I'm losing my head.
And welcome back. It is the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Something that we're not really hearing a lot about, because I think right now it is because
You
the
hear too much about other.
but coming up, we're talking a lot about, like, the governor's races in November.
Yeah.
We do have spring elections coming up, and
Yes,
it's
we do.
locally,
Yeah.
and also statewide for the state Supreme Court. And there's an opportunity, basically, for I think a more progressive-leaning court to almost be baked in for quite a long time.
Right.
But we've noticed over the years that when I think those on the left get a little complacent, that's when bad things happen.
Never get complacent in anything in life. You shouldn't.
But we've seen it in the past.
Yeah, we have.
I
Yep,
mean, I
yep.
think it was it Hagedorn's election that was like at one point? I mean, it was like a little bit of a surprise. It seems like when
Well, in your local elections, can
oh,
the spring elections can get darn close. Yeah.
well, especially we see here. I mean, in the city of Wausau and other
Yes.
areas where if you don't have a
We got a couple that are pretty well, there's a couple contests out
one
there.
thing,
but-
one thing that we would like to see, I think, a little bit more of an even balance on the county board, which would go a long way.
Yeah,
That's been
it
very,
would. It would. There's some really, really good people on there, and there's some really staunch people on there, and if you just had a little bit more
What
middle
do you
ground,
think?
it would be good.
One of the new folks running for county board is what's her name? Katie Rosenberg.
Yeah,
What do you think of her returning to the public sphere?
I was shocked. Pleasantly.
I know.
Pleasantly.
It shows
But
again. It just shows that some
It
people.
shows her resilience, her her love for the community.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna. This is not to butter you up, but I mean, I think it's similar to your story because you've been knocked down a lot.
Oh my God!
I mean, you keep coming back for more.
And Katie would tell you the same. That or we're really crazy. I don't know. But yeah, I do. I look at her like that. That no matter what the naysayers are, she's there. She feels she can do the job well, and she has. And no matter what people say, you just got to keep getting back up.
And you know what else that I think that we need so desperately right now is people whose heart is in the right place.
Yes.
Because
that you're there for the right reasons.
I mean, the idea of winning elections based on fear and hatred. I mean, I hope we're at the point where it's gonna just backlash because it just feels as though how much of that can this country and this community take? Because I was thinking about, when I was reading on Katie coming back in, and it's like, I'm thinking, what were the controversies? Community for all.
Right.
I mean, the idea that we would want to have a community
that
for
would be
everybody,
a bad
that
idea.
somehow that would be a political loser is just insanity.
It is. And I so often read the comments that people make, but I've never once seen these people stand up and say, my idea is so great, I think I'll run for public office. No, it's a lot easier to sit on your butt at home on a keyboard.
That's exactly right. That's the easy part. It's so easy to get in front of and just put out on social media stuff that you would never
just sit
say.
there all day, get a life.
And never say it out loud. And then also to have somebody say, come back at you. It's so easy. You can just ignore.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's like anything else
Right.
that's under it.
Yeah, you're protected in your little home there. You can come out and say all kinds of things because nobody can come get you.
Well, keyboard warriors are the same thing that Donald Trump is. I'm sorry. I mean,
A lot of it, you betcha.
Because he is a keyboard warrior who he's never had bone spurs when it comes to his keyboard wars, but he did when he had a chance to actually do something.
Do something, yeah. So, yeah, definitely people, using Katie as an example, but, and others that are stepping up to actually say, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try. And I have other friends on boards and councils and whatnot, too, that will tell you the things that they go through and the backlashing they get, some of it very unsuspecting, but somehow you just have to keep getting up and doing it again and doing it again. You can't let the whats get you down.
Well, I mean, that's especially in this era, because it would be so easy just to try to crawl under a rock
and just forget it.
Exactly.
And granted, there are times you and I have said this too. You just got to turn it off and walk away for a little while. But
that's only to recharge.
Yeah.
Then come back harder.
Yeah, you do.
And that's it. I mean, and again, I guess the final moments here is, it is 2026. It is the 250th anniversary of the founding of this country. And while it's not been perfect, it's been really good. And for the most part. I mean, there's been some really, I think we've learned from mistakes.
As a country, we've had our ups and downs and whatnot, but we have a fight within us, and we just...
And I go back to having...
That fight has got to make things better.
But I go back to having people who have their heart in the right place.
Yeah.
I think as we go forward, I hope people start to look at that.
Think of your neighbors.
Start looking at that. Yeah. Who does care about you?
Right.
I mean, and I say this to people all the time. Would Donald Trump pull over and help you out if you were on the side of the road?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think because this year is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, I think people should take the time to go online and find the document and actually read it and actually just appreciate the meaning of it, because this is a very important... It's not just a piece of paper. This is a document that led to the foundation of America, separation from England, and just the values that we as America should really need to remember, especially in this year.
We need to live them, not just hold them dear.
Exactly. It's not just
send them to
words,
Donald.
it's actions.
Nancy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Folks, if you're on YouTube, stick around. If you're not on YouTube, you can go to WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and go on the Sports 2 stream for the next hour. If you're staying on WXCO, it's Greg Bach, but hopefully you'll stick with us for another hour online here on WXCO. And welcome back to you folks tuned in online, youtube.com, 98.9 WXCO channel, also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. Again, for those folks out there, and if you're tuned in on our podcast, it's great as well at your convenience. Again, I know that we're still trying to spread the word that, number one, we are back live on 98.9 WXCO for the first hour from 8 until 9 a.m. So join us every weekday morning live from 8 till 9 on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. And then from 9 till 10, or 9:06 till 10, we do take a few minutes to take a deep breath and then come back.
Absolutely.
You can catch us live online. Again, maybe the best way would be on YouTube, because you can make comments on YouTube, and we'll get those comments and pass them along to you. YouTube.com, and then search 98.9 WXCO. Subscribe to our channel and be able to watch it there. Also, again, WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app. And instead of the main stream, the on-air stream, we are on, and actually it reminds me, I got to go and turn it on because I usually do it. What I'm going to do here, Ian, is we're going to say how you are doing, and I'm going to quickly go and turn that on. But how are you doing this morning?
Honestly, I'm doing really good. It's close to the end of another busy work week, and today is only a week away from the auditions for Wausau Community Theater's spring musical. And again, if you're not aware of this, it is called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. It's a very funny show. I have mentioned before, it did win the Tony Award for both the best musical and also the best book. It's a very funny show. It's got a lot of humor, a lot of heart, and a lot of great songs and dances as well. And it's not a very big cast either. So if you're planning to audition for this, you better sign up right away, because there's only a limited amount of spots available for auditions, and they've been filling up pretty fast. The auditions specifically are just going to be in like groups of 10 people, so it's not very. It's not like a heavy ensemble show. It's just like there's a certain amount of roles, and they all get equal time to be a part of the show. I mean, they all have their own moments to shine, and at least all the characters have at least their one special song in the show they get to sing. But it's a lot of fun, and the auditions are a week away. It'll be next Thursday, starting at 6:30, and then there'll also be auditions on a Saturday as well, the 17th, and those will be at two separate times. There'll be an audition at 1 o'clock, and I believe also 3 or 3:30. I will double check on that and make sure I have that accurate information. But all the audition information, all the character information, and all the details can be found on both the Wausau Community Theater website and also on their Facebook page as well.
Fantastic. So, again, great opportunities to be involved in different ways here in north central Wisconsin. If you missed earlier this week, our conversations involving Sweda,
Yes.
the artistic director, Lori Magley, was with us on Tuesday. We are also joined by the Broadway performer, Eric Peterson, who performed Shrek on Broadway, has also been a television performer for years, and he is their artist in residence this week. It was a very interesting discussion, both in terms of what Sweda does, in terms of the acting life that Eric Peterson has lived, and really, I thought, really a nice conversation. Go back and listen
absolutely.
to the podcast if you go to WXCO.FM and also just go to Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, subscribe, because then you won't miss anything with our show and also our newscast each and every day as well. So if you're on Spotify, just subscribe to WXCO News, and part of that will be the Chad Holmes Show,
Yes.
along with our daily news roundup as well. And of course, next week, as part of this show, on Tuesday, we'll have members of the cast of Calendar Girls from the River and Woods Theater Company. They have their show coming up next weekend, and we'll learn more about that coming up on Tuesday. So, again, we have a mixture of so many different kinds of discussions, whether it's politics, whether it's news, whether sports. Tomorrow, our sports discussion on Friday, so we'll get you ready for the big weekend, including the Packer-Bear playoff game. We'll be joined by Paul Micklig tomorrow morning to talk about that in the first hour, starting at 8:20.
Yeah, my mom says she got a membership to Amazon Prime. Actually, a pretty good deal, though. It only costs $7.49, so it's actually not a terrible deal. And she can cancel any time.
And I understand that, and I mean, but I'm going to say that I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give a dime at this point to Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos is the owner of Amazon. He's the owner of the Washington Post. He's the owner of Blue Origin, I think, the space flight company. And the way that he has been kowtowing to Donald Trump in the last year has annoyed me.
Yeah.
And one of the few things I can do is to not give companies owned by Jeff Bezos any money. And I'm not going to say that anybody that does is doing the wrong thing, because, doggone it, people want to see the Packer playoff game. I mean, that's important. It's important to a lot of people, and because you put a lot of your emotion and a lot of your pride into trying to help the Green Bay Packers to a playoff win against the Bears. But my little thing that I can do is, no, I'm not going to give Jeff Bezos the money, and I'm going to find a different way of following along on Saturday night, one way or the other. But no, Jeff, I'm not going to do that. But again, I mean, and I'm not going to, I still have Paramount Plus, even though I'm not happy with the Guy Dance and David Ellison, and I'm thinking about getting rid of that. But
yeah, there's a lot of
if you look deep into almost anything that you buy, there could be a reason not to do it. So it's like, I mean, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to get before you figure out, hey, this is something I'm willing to support or something I'm not willing to support? So I don't know. Is there anything that you've ever said, hey, I'm not going to support this, or I'm not going to give money to this because of some policy that they've had? Have you ever been in a situation like that, or have you never had to cross that bridge?
I don't think I've ever had to cross that bridge quite yet. I mean, well, going back to the streaming services, I mean, my family and I actually pay for the different services individually. However, we recently got rid of Netflix because we don't really use Netflix anymore. My brother Travis was the one that paid for Netflix, so he canceled his membership, and we don't use Netflix anymore, which is understandable. I mean, what's the point in paying for a streaming service if you hardly ever use it?
Yes.
I mean, we still use a Paramount Plus. My mom pays for that one. I pay for Disney Plus. I think we still have HBO Max, although I think we're still in the process of trying to.
There's so many of them.
There's
you have Apple
Plus,
TV. Okay.
There's Apple TV. There's Peacock. There's Fubo and Tubi. Tubi's actually pretty nice though, because it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, that's free.
And there's actually a lot of good stuff that comes.
Pluto
to Tubi.
TV is free.
Oh, Pluto TV is a good one too. But
So
there's a lot of unnecessary apps like the MGM Plus. I don't even know what they have on that channel, because a lot of these different movie companies, it's like I think they have like a trade war where it's like, one service will have a certain movie or show on for a while, and they trade it to a different streaming service that doesn't really own it, and then it just kind of gets. It's like a game of poker. It just keeps getting shuffled around.
And the thing about it is they all just, they want to find that one either show or movie or sporting thing, because I mean, coming up here in the next month or two, I got to make a decision because I'm somebody that enjoys watching Formula One racing, and they moved to Apple, and I've never had Apple, but I kind of want to have the Formula One races. So I think the one reason they got the rights to air the Formula One races is to try to get people like me to buy Apple Plus or Apple TV, whatever you call it these days. And I've got to make that decision. I mean, I could do it where I just watch the highlights because like Formula One puts highlights on their YouTube channel. But if I want to watch the race themselves or the qualifying themselves, I have to decide to go to Apple Plus. And it's like, do I really want to do that? And that's the same thing with like Amazon. That's why they get the NFL package. So people like me would have to buy it to see the game on Saturday night. So all these streaming services are just trying to find that magic bullet when it comes to getting subscribers. And I'm curious to see as the years go by, because we're still fairly young in terms of the streaming wars, that ultimately you're going to see some of them succeed, and I would think some of them will not succeed, or we'll see mergers involved in it at some point as well.
Absolutely. But I think the easiest thing to do is like just, if you want to watch a movie without commercials and you can pause or play at any time, just go to the library and check out a DVD. Because I still do that. I still have a DVD player in my basement. I request movies and TV shows and music from the library. I actually, and I might be dating myself here because I'm a 90s kid, but kids, have you ever heard of a thing called a DVD or a CD? It's like a disc. It's like a circle, and you put it into a player. You can watch. You watch the movie without commercials. You can watch the bonus features behind the scenes and bloopers. You remember bloopers?
I remember bloopers.
They used to have bloopers on DVD. You don't get those in streaming services.
But the thing about it, I'll show you how old I am. In my room, my bedroom, I have a TV, and I have a VCR.
Oh,
I don't have a DVD player. I still have an old-fashioned VCR.
I used to have a VCR.
I still have videotapes that sometimes I'll watch. So,
I used to have like a huge collection of the old Disney VHS videotapes. I used to watch as a kid. I would watch those constantly over and over again. But then our VCR broke, and then my mom and I actually gave them to a younger kid who still had a VCR but didn't have any VHS tapes. So I donated all my VHS tapes to him so that he could watch them and make those memories. And I think that was a really good thing, though, because it's sitting in your basement collecting dust is okay for some people, but if you can give it to somebody else who can actually use it and make the most of it, I think that's a better way to give away your nostalgia and pass it on to more generations. Because
there you go.
On YouTube, you can actually watch like the old VHS openings of the old movies and like the old format. I still watch those as a form of nostalgia because it takes me back. It helps with my memory because I can quote some of those movie shows word for word. I've seen them so many times. It's just the feeling of nostalgia, especially if you're an 80s or a 90s kid. It's a really powerful feeling, and it really helps to, it helps with your anxiety, and it just takes you back to a simpler time when people didn't, criticize everything, where people could just, make movies and TV shows, just have fun, and actually not be afraid to talk about the difficult topics like we do today.
We're going to take a quick time out, but concerning streaming services, I want to throw this out there to anybody out there tuned in. Have you had a streaming service you've refused to buy because maybe their political leanings are something that you are against? Are you somebody like myself who says no to Jeff Bezos or maybe no to David Ellison? let us know at 715-814-9330. If there's anything else you'd like to talk about, any topics, want to talk about what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, we'd love to hear about your thoughts on that as well. 715-814-9330. And, of course, part of what we're trying to do here is to let your voice be heard, hear about the issues that are important to you as we bring back Chad Holmes Show here starting this week. First hour, again, live on 98.9 WXCO, and the second hour live on YouTube and the Sports 2 stream of WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app. We'll be right back with more with Ian Welsh. I am Chad Holmes. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
The whole world's coming together now. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
On Thursday night, the Wausau West hockey team returns to play in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, playing host to Wisconsin Rapids at the Marathon Park Ice Arena. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 6:35 and the opening face-off at 7 p.m. Wausau West Hockey on 98.9 WXCO is brought to you by Sun Printing, the Wausau West Athletic Department, Clover Belt Credit Union, sponsor of the Clover Belt Credit Union broadcast booth, Rocket Industrial, and the Wausau Business Show, the Wausau Cyclones, the Wausau West Hockey Booster Club, Four Seasons Golf of Wausau, and Mike Whitmore Construction. It's Wausau West versus Wisconsin Rapids in high school hockey. Thursday, starting with pregame show at 6:35 on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app.
So, how are the kids?
Well, Emily made the honor roll.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, we're really proud of her. Tyler, on the other hand, though,
What's going on?
he's been moody lately, just feeling down and not like himself.
Oh, we've been there. Nick was struggling last spring. He was so anxious and stressed.
Really? What helped?
Well, he joined the soccer team, and ever since, he's been a lot happier. He has more energy, he's less stressed, and he's definitely in a better mood at home. It's made a huge difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting out of the house, he's getting some exercise, and he's off his phone for once. It's been good for his mental health.
Sounds like it's been good for your mental health, too.
Participating in Wisconsin high school sports improves students' physical and mental health. Encourage your son or daughter to get involved. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Last night, I was feeling something wasn't right. There was not another soul in sight. Only you, so we walked along. Though I knew that there was something wrong, and a feeling that feels so
Chad Holmes Show,
strong.
98.9 WXCO. Hour number 2 each day between 9 and 10 o'clock airs exclusively online, WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. Our main stream, of course, has Greg Bach on it, and Greg on 98.9 WXCO in this hour as well. We would not be overly upset if you tuned into him, but as long as you then listen to the podcast later on, because we have the complete podcast each and every day. But also here in hour number 2, we are live on YouTube, youtube.com, and the 98.9 WXCO channel. So again, you can get the entire show on YouTube here on 98.9 WXCO's YouTube channel. Just go there and subscribe, and you won't miss a thing. But again, as well, coming up just after 10 o'clock, we will post our podcast, and you'll be able to tune in to the entire show at your convenience. And it's right there on WXCO.FM under news, right there on the front page. But also subscribe if you're on Spotify or any podcast server. Just subscribe to WXCO News, and you'll never miss a thing here on this program. Also, again, our phone lines are open at 715-814-9330. 9330. That's 715-814-9330.
We want you to be a part of the conversation.
Exactly right. And there's so much to talk about. Real quickly, though, let's let you know about the weather forecast for today.
Yeah.
If you have any plans for this Thursday, I'll get that right. For today, look for some rain later on today. Rain likely mainly after 5 p.m. Some fog early, but it is starting to get a little bit brighter, but I still see some fog out there. Mostly cloudy, a high near 39 degrees. Tonight, rain and snow, becoming all snow after 3 a.m., a low of 31 degrees. North winds 5 to 14 miles per hour, gusting as high as 23 miles per hour. New snow accumulation less than a half an inch likely. Friday, a slight chance of rain and snow before 8 a.m., then a slight chance of snow between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., otherwise mostly cloudy, then turning sunny as we get later into your day on Friday. Temperature rising to near 35 by noon, falling to around 30 during the remainder of the day. North-northwest winds 5 to 13 miles per hour, gusting as high as 23 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 20, and for the weekend, snow likely on Saturday, otherwise mostly cloudy and a high near 28. And then Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high near 26 degrees. Right now here in downtown Wausau, some freezing fog out there, temperature of 30 degrees, relative humidity of 100%. The winds are very light, out of the east at 3 miles per hour. Barometer 29.72 inches, and visibility is way down there, just a quarter of a mile. So, again, the dense fog advisory continues for our 98.9 WXCO listening area. That goes on until noon today. Visibility 1/4 mile or less in dense fog and freezing fog. And that, again, means that driving conditions could be hazardous out there. Take a little bit of extra time if you're heading off here this morning.
Absolutely.
He is Ian Welsh. I am Chad Holmes. Also, just want to remind you that coming up tonight, we do have high school hockey. The Wausau West hockey team starts a stretch of 3 games in 3 days. They are in Wisconsin Valley Conference play tonight, taking on Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln. I'll be at the Marathon Park Ice Arena for all the exciting action, starting with the pregame show at 6:35 and the opening face-off at 7 p.m. That is Wausau West hockey tonight, right here on 98.9 WXCO. Then tomorrow, the Warriors will take on Middleton, first round of the Wausau West Hockey Invitational. That will be the second semifinal, so that game will not be until about 8 o'clock. So it'll be roughly 8 o'clock, so tune in then. And then Saturday, Wausau West will take on either Notre Dame Academy or Eau Claire Memorial in the second round of the Wausau West Hockey Invitational, and that one will be at 1 o'clock for the pregame and 1:15 for the opening faceoff.
Nice.
Again, busy time in high school sports.
Absolutely.
And again, why do we do that? Why do we decide to go out there and do all these games?
It's because we are very, very proud to be the only local Wausau radio station that covers play-by-play action of high school sports.
Exactly right. So again, hopefully you can tune in.
I'm proud to keep saying it, too.
Exactly. And last night we had the big high school sports show. If you missed that, we had a couple of terrific guests and talked a lot about what's going on in high school hockey and also high school basketball. But if you missed the show last night and want to go back and hear our interviews with DC Everest boys basketball coach Jake Shallow and also Mosinee hockey senior Tyler Bars, go again to WXCO.FM, go to the show page, and then I'll take you to our main show page with all the podcasts, and or else on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, just subscribe to the Big High School Sports Show. By the way, last night when I was heading home after the show, I go back sort of the back route. I live in Weston, so I'm going back, and all of a sudden near Camp Phillips Road, I see in the distance, I think, oh, there must be deer up there. So and they're just sort of standing there, and I get closer, and there wasn't one deer, there wasn't 2 deer, there weren't 3 deer, there was at least 4 deer. There may have been a 5th deer there, and they're just standing in the road. Normally, when you get close, they scurry off, and it looked like there was a couple of young deer. It looked like a family. It was actually sort of heartwarming.
That's nice.
And I get there and I actually stop and I'm waiting for these deer to clear the road.
And they don't move?
And I pulled my camera. I took a picture of it, and they weren't moving there. And then finally, they kind of moved off, and it was like I was able to go home. But I have seen deer. In fact, on Monday night, I was on the bus with the Newman Catholic High School boys basketball team, and we were up in Crandon for the game. So we drove to Crandon, and then came back home after the game. And on the way home, the bus nearly hit 2 deer.
Oh, gosh.
Bus driver says, boy, it was like, holy cow, it was very, very close. So this time of year appears to be, at least. I mean, based on anecdotal evidence. This is not scientific evidence. This is anecdotal evidence. Be aware that there's a lot of deer out there.
Absolutely.
And frankly, I'm a little paranoid about it because I've been traveling around for many years, more than 25 years, driving around covering high school sports. But I never hit a deer until last February. And I was over in Green Bay for a Storm game, and I'm driving home. Bang, I hit a deer. And it took it must have been 3 or 4 weeks to get the car fixed.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a pain. I had to rent a car. That cost money, and because I didn't have my insurance rental coverage. But now I'm as paranoid about deer. So it's like I'm thinking last night, I could see those deer. I'm glad it didn't just jump out in front of me, because that's where the trouble comes. But if you're out there, be aware. Just one more thing to be aware of. I mean, you got the fog to be aware of. Now be aware of the deer and be aware of the slickness on some of the roads. It's all out there.
And a deer can pop out of nowhere.
Exactly right. So
But I think my dad, and I think this was like a couple of times, but he was traveling up north for, I believe it was for a golfing event, and he actually saw, and I'm not kidding, he saw an albino deer, a white deer, and I think he actually took a picture of it. It's been a while, but it doesn't happen very often, but he saw it at least twice, and like I said, I didn't believe it when he first told me, but he showed me the picture, and it was a little blurry, but it did look like a white deer. So always got to be careful in Wisconsin, because there was a reason that the Milwaukee Bucks slogan is "Fear the deer."
No, exactly.
There's
right.
good reason for that. I'm not sure where they got that quote, but it's a good quote.
Coming up, we're going to talk more about what happened in Minneapolis. And also I want to talk a little bit about this discussion of either acquiring or attacking Greenland. And we're actually seeing some spying for once by some Republican members of the Congress. And I want to kind of discuss that a little bit as well. But that's, again, some of the headlines that we're going to discuss. And we'd love to hear your thoughts as well at 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330. But we'll talk about some of those issues and get a little more information about those stories coming up. Also coming up here in just a moment, we will hear from our WXCO news reporter, Isabella Nieto. She'll have a news update, and then we'll be back in 3 minutes with more of the Chad Holmes Show live on YouTube at youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel, online at WXCO.FM, and the Civic Media app on the Sports 2 stream.
It coming to you now. There's not a lot I can do. Dreamer, stupid little dreamer.
For WXCO News, I'm Isabella Nieto. Wausau is looking to redevelop land parcels on North 2nd Street. The city's Economic Development Committee reopened the request for interest aimed at redeveloping the parcels on Tuesday, after a December deadline yielded little interest.
Given the limited interest that we've received so far, especially during this time period during the winter, when it's really not too common to see too much development interest happening.
That's Development Director Randy Pfeifrick. He recommended the committee create an open deadline for developers to express their interest. District 4 Alder Tom Neal supported the recommendation.
Having the kind of artificial deadline, there was really no need for it. But on top of that, I think that some effort of some kind of marketing effort on our social our website and our social page would be good.
According to the request for interest released last October, the 8 currently separate parcels of city-owned land are within walking distance of the Wisconsin River. The city is looking for proposals that add value to the neighborhood and surrounding businesses, maximize property tax value, and meet the design guidelines on the zoning ordinance. One of the parcels was acquired by the city through a Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. According to a memo, the grant requires the development to provide some kind of benefit for income-qualified individuals. Pfeiffer told the committee timing isn't a concern in getting these parcels developed.
As we move forward, if there does come to be an issue, we can work with the city and the Economic Development Committee. There may be a scenario where it makes sense that we appropriate some different funds to really cover for that CDBG funds.
For more information on the request for interest, visit the City of Wausau's Development Division webpage. I'm Isabella Nieto for WXCO News.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the WIAA, are the 178,000 high school sports students in Wisconsin. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
If you want me, you can find me left of center off of the strip. In the outskirts and in the fringes, in the corner out of the grid. If you want me, you can find me left of center off of the strip. In the outskirts and in the fringes, in the corner out of the grid. And when they ask me, what are you looking at? I always answer, nothing much, not much. I think they know that I'm looking at them. I think they think I must be out of touch, but I'm only in the outskirts and in the fringes, on the edge and off the avenue.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Hour number 2, live on YouTube, youtube.com, and the 98.9 WXCO channel. Also online at WXCO.FM, Sports 2 Stream, and on the Civic Media app, Sports 2 Stream as well. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. We'll have the number for the day quiz coming up in just a few minutes when we wrap things up. But I want to talk a little bit more about 2 stories. First, I want to talk a little bit more about what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, because
It's horrible.
it is. It's not just horrible, it is wrong on every level.
It's basically murder is what you
It
said.
is. It is. And I want to read something again that was written by one of my favorite writers, a guy that I get a newsletter from each and every day. He talks a lot about baseball in it, but he also talks a lot about news and what's happening in the world from
Craig Calcaterra, right?
Exactly right, because his perspective is one I respect greatly, and he always seems to say things that I wish I could say just as well.
What did he say?
But he said in his newsletter this morning, the most important news from yesterday was obviously what happened in Minneapolis, where an ICE agent murdered a woman in cold blood. Department of Homeland Security claims that Renee Nicole Good tried to run over the agents. But there is copious video footage and eyewitness testimony showing that to be a lie. Good was sitting in her stopped car. ICE officers screamed at her to move her car. She attempted to move, and they shot her multiple times through the windshield and the open driver's side window. There were no warnings. There were no attempts to de-escalate. Just an immediate resort to deadly force for the, quote, crime, end quote, of blocking traffic. This killing reminds of how in 2023, a suburban Columbus cop killed a pregnant woman named Takia Young by shooting through her windshield in a grocery store parking lot. Young was suspected of shoplifting, nothing more. The cop was actually indicted for murder, but he walked after claiming that Young tried to run him down. The cops have a playbook. They know if they simply say she was coming right at me, that a lot of people will buy it because a lot of people want to believe cops, regardless of what the reality on the ground happens to be. The authorities in this country have been killing people with impunity for centuries, sometimes even when there has been clear video of it. This is the latest example of it. Good was 37. She was an award-winning poet. She had a 6-year-old daughter whose father died in 2023, and now her mother has been murdered by Donald Trump's masked secret police force, after which the United States government and its allies in the media spent the day telling outrageous lies about her. I agree with them that an act of terrorism occurred yesterday, but it was perpetrated by the United States government. Not good. Don't let the government tell you that you're wrong about what you see with your own 2 eyes. America is lost. It's completely lost, and it's marching deeper and deeper into darkness every day. We're past the point of mere elections fixing it. It's going to take the prosecution of scores, if not hundreds of members of the current regime and the eradication of their evil and lawless works to even begin to put us on something resembling a path back into the light. Like that's where we have to start to even have hope of a positive future. We cannot go back. We must forge a new path forward and through. Anyone who promises with clarity and conviction to do that has my support. Anyone without the courage to do so does not.
Well said, Mr. Calcaterra. That
well, the
everything he said was exactly on the point.
And the thing about it is, we have a secret police force right now, and I think that there's a difference between the police officers within one's community and this ICE police force that wears masks, that are not trained properly. They're being rounded up through advertisements all through the country, basically trying to find people who have no other jobs to come and join this ICE force. What has to happen is, number one, ICE needs to be abolished. And every Democrat in the United States Congress needs to get up and say that immediately. Number two, we also have to go back in the post 9/11 aftermath with the start of the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
We don't need the Department of Homeland Security. That is, the whole idea of homeland is such a, it's a term that comes straight out of the Nazi playbook. So I'm not a big fan of that. I think we got to go back, at the very least, take some very long look at what can be changed, or perhaps completely eliminate that as well. But also, you have to have consequences for these actions. And again, to have people like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller immediately get up and say, this was an act of domestic terrorism by this woman who was murdered. No, it was not an act of domestic terrorism. It was an act of patriotism, of standing up against these masked secret police forces that are scurrying around different communities and taking innocent people and basically disappearing them. The idea that this can continue without anybody standing up is completely crazy. That it needs to be stopped immediately.
They don't even have the decency to be called officers. They need to be called what they are. Bullies.
Vigilantes.
Exactly. Bullies. Vigilantes. People who take the law into their own hands and basically punish people for no reason just because they have the nerve to talk back to them and stand up for what's right. I mean, personally, I could be wrong about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the whole purpose of the ICE police force was basically for Trump to have his own like police force that basically, makes people do what he wants to do, and anybody who goes against it is basically a terrorist and gets killed.
I think
if
you're
I'm wrong,
pretty accurate. I mean,
if I'm wrong, correct me.
It's Donald Trump's secret police force. That's exactly what it is.
ICE wasn't even invented until he took office. I mean,
no, ICE has been there. It's the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, so it's been there.
Oh, yeah,
it's just been perverted in Donald Trump's vision.
Yeah.
So And now they're adding incredible amounts of money to it to make it bigger and bolder and even more scary. So
People need to take a stand against this.
another story, a little bit more of a positive aspect, is there's actually some Republican pushback against the White House in their talk of taking over Greenland, possibly with military force. According to The Hill newspaper in Washington, Republican senators are telling senior White House officials, including senior policy advisor Stephen Miller, to drop talk of a U.S. takeover of Greenland, possibly with military force, which has driven a wedge between the United States and Denmark, a key NATO ally. Republican lawmakers worry the threat of an invasion of Greenland, which most shrug off as bluster, will hurt relations with key European allies. And real fast, anybody who shrugs off the talk of a potential invasion of Greenland is not watching what is going on here.
Seriously.
People have to wake up that when Donald Trump and his minions say something like this, that they are not just blustering. That's what they thought. Oh, he's not going to go off and haul away millions of immigrants. No, that's just talk to the base.
And don't use the excuse of Donald just being Donald.
Exactly.
Enough of that. If he says something, he's going to do it.
Senate Armed Services Chairperson Roger Wicker of Mississippi, Republican, said the White House should just stop talking about a Greenland takeover. He said, this is a topic that should be dropped. Wicker argued it would behoove the Trump administration not to antagonize NATO allies.
Absolutely.
Another Republican senator, Dan Sullivan of Alaska, a member of Wicker's panel, says he agrees with the chair that the administration should shut down the Greenland talk. We have a treaty with them. We have troops there. This treaty allows for the expansion of troops if we request it and they approve it. They're an important national security ally, Sullivan said. He said, I'm in the Wicker camp. There's strategic value, but it's already existing in a treaty. The subject of a U.S. military operation against Greenland was discussed at an all-senators briefing Wednesday with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who assured lawmakers that a military operation isn't being planned. Some senators have noted that Rubio and Hegseth also assured them last month that the Trump administration did not plan to topple the regime of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro before launching an overnight mission to do just that a few days into the new year.
Seriously.
And then Miss I'm Concerned, Susan Collins, Republican of Maine, she's always concerned about things but never does anything about it. She is the Senate Appropriations Committee chair. She oversees the nation's defense budget, said talk of taking over Greenland is, quote, very unfortunate. She is
That's
the
it?
worst when it comes to that kind of talk.
That's all you have to say?
She said,
unfortunate?
She said, I wish that the administration would stop talking about taking control of Greenland. It makes no sense whatsoever. Well,
then why don't you do something
got to be a
about it
little
instead of-
stronger than that, yes.
Haven't you ever heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words?
Another Republican senator, Jerry Moran, said there should be no invasion of Greenland. Denmark is an ally, a NATO ally. So again, a number of GOP senators pushing back a little bit against some of Donald Trump's crazy thoughts. And if it's a start of something, good, but
He needs to build into something that's actually doable.
exactly right. So again, it's one
Words
of
have power, but actions can make those words stronger.
But I mean, there's still got some crazy people in this White House that are saying the opposite of what these Republicans want them to say. I mean, Stephen Miller said on CNN,
Crazy's putting it mildly.
yeah, that Greenland rightfully belongs to the United States. I don't know where he gets that. And that no country would pose a serious military deterrent if President Trump decided to take over the mineral-rich territory. There you go again. This is all about getting minerals and then getting Donald Trump's friends more access to that to make more
What
money.
in the world does he need minerals for?
Of course we need minerals. We need minerals. The world needs minerals, so it's important.
Okay.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt separately issued a statement saying that President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority for the United States.
Well, she just loves being the press secretary, doesn't she?
I mean, it's just nuts. It is. Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina took to the Senate floor yesterday to blast Miller's comments as, quote, amateurish behavior with respect to the treatment of NATO allies. Tillis said, Mr. Miller said that Greenland should be part of the U.S. That is absurd. So again, you're seeing pushback, at least from Republicans, but we got to see that more often, and to put Donald Trump into a box here that does not allow him to break law after law after law.
Seriously.
All right, so that's a couple of the headline stories nationally here this morning.
It's good to talk about those stories.
We're going to come back, wrap it up with our number for the day quiz in 2 minutes here on 98.9 WXCO. I'm Chad Holmes, join former Wausau West head hockey coach B.J. Brandt and myself every Wednesday night from 6 till 8 p.m. for the Big High School Sports Show on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, and also broadcasting live on the 98.9 WXCO YouTube channel. Each week we'll be talking high school winter sports. We'll review and preview the basketball and hockey action with both the boys and the girls, and each week we'll also be joined by an area head coach and a student athlete guest as well. It's the Big High School Sports Show every Wednesday night from 6 till 8 p.m. on Central Wisconsin's radio home for high school sports. 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, and broadcasting live on YouTube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the WIAA, are the 178,000 high school sports students in Wisconsin. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, YouTube.com, 98.9 WXCO channel, WXCO.FM, and the Civic Media app on the Sports 2 stream. Some famous events that have occurred on this date in history. It is the 8th day of January of 2026. Back on this date in 1790, U.S. President George Washington delivered the first State of the Union, an annual address to Congress. On this date in 1912, the African National Congress was founded, originally called the South African Native National Congress. Its main goal was the maintenance of voting rights for persons of mixed race and for black Africans in Cape Province. On this date in 1918, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson announced his 14 points, an outline for peace following World War I. He had a hard time getting those through. I remember reading, because I read a biography on Woodrow Wilson, and some Republicans said that God only had 10 commandments and Woodrow Wilson has 14 points. So.
Oh, jeez.
1942, on this date, Stephen Hawking who developed a theory of exploding black holes that drew upon both relativity theory and quantum mechanics, was born in Oxford, England. On this date in 1959, Charles de Gaulle was inaugurated as president of France's Fifth Republic. On this date in 1998, Ramzi Ahmed Youssef, convicted of plotting the 1993 terrorist bombing of the World Trade Center in New York, was sentenced to life in prison. I remember this date. It was 15 years ago today, on January the 8th of 2011, U.S. Representative Gabrielle Giffords was shot during an assassination attempt in Arizona. Although she and 12 others who were shot survived, 6 people were killed. It was another example of mass shooting in this country where nothing gets done afterwards.
Yeah.
On this date in 2016, Joaquin Guzman, also known as El Chapo, head of the Sinaloa drug cartel, was captured in Los Mochis after escaping prison some 6 months earlier. He was later extradited to the United States, where he was convicted of various crimes. All right, now it's time for our number for the day quiz.
Yes.
We give Ian an opportunity each and every day to take a quiz to determine whether or not he knows some number that has some connection to either today or something else that we're talking about. So far this week, he's 0 for 2.
I got some work to do.
He's got some definite work to do. He's got to get today
Yes.
and tomorrow right.
Yes, I do.
But today, it involves another anniversary of something that happened on this date in history.
Okay.
January the 8th of what year did U.S. General Andrew Jackson defeat Great Britain in the Battle of New Orleans, the final engagement in the War of 1812? So, Andrew Jackson, who was a general in the United States Army, who later became president of the United States because he became the hero of New Orleans. He became known as the hero.
Yeah.
And he defeated Great Britain in this final battle of the War of 1812, the Battle of New Orleans. On January the 8th of what year did that occur?
What year?
Was it 1812? Was it 1815? Was it 1818?
Okay.
Andrew Jackson defeated Great Britain in the Battle of New Orleans, the final engagement of the War of 1812. In 1812, 1815, or 1818?
Oh, I hope my history is right on this one. Okay, I'm going to say, final answer, I'm going to say 1815. Final answer, I'm saying 1815.
I was wondering if you're going to say 1812 because it's the War of 1812.
That's what I was thinking.
But it's the War of 1812 started in 1812. It did not finish in 1812.
No, it did not.
U.S. General Andrew Jackson defeated Great Britain in the Battle of New Orleans on January the 8th of 1815.
Yes. Oh.
You got it right. You're 1 for 3 this week.
I remember my history.
And
That's
it's
good.
all on the line tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow's the big one.
Tomorrow morning, again, the first hour, join us live on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, Civic Media app, and on YouTube. We'll be joined by Paul Micklig at 8:20, talk about the weekend in Wisconsin sports, including the big Packer-Bear game on Saturday night. And then, of course, we will wrap up in hour number 2, again, live on YouTube and on the Sports 2 stream of WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app. Ian, have a great rest of your day.
You too, Chad. Happy Thursday, everybody.
And don't forget to join me tonight for Wausau West hockey against Wisconsin Rapids. 6:35 airtime on 98.9 WXCO.